All right, welcome back to Perdido Key Gaming. Today we got some more Rolemaster stuff. Gonna talk a little bit about professions. So, as you know, in Rolemaster there are tons of professions, or as they're called in D&D and stuff like that, classes. Basically, in Rolemaster, the class or the profession you pick gives you an idea of what skills you're good at and some other stuff. So your fighter is going to be good at fighting, your magician is going to be good at magic or essence. But this is the Philosophy of Professions, copyright Nicholas Caldwell, 1998, from the Guild Companion. Highly recommended Rolemaster stuff. This particular article is concerned with Rolemaster Standard System. My favorite version is Rolemaster Second Edition. But what Mr. Caldwell did is expanded on the realms or areas of proficiency. So in original Rolemaster, there's arms, mentalism, channeling, and essence, and a little later on, arcane. He added subterfuge and mundane, so which kind of classifies everybody as dual realm professions and everything like that. Of course, there are some that have three realms and things like that. But anyway, it conveniently pockets everybody into a box and kind of gives you an idea of there's other classes out or other professions out there to maybe add to Rolemaster. So for the arcane, it's the arcanist. In Rolemaster Second Edition, our Archmage or Archmagi, whatever you want to call it. Essence is the magician. These are the archetypes, I think, would be the best word for it. For channeling, cleric. For mentalism, the mentalist. For the arms, the fighter. He's got warrior monk in here as well. And for the subterfuge, thief. And then a layman for the mundane. Just a smith or cobbler or something like that. But I don't know if it's kind of strange to say, well, this guy's a 40th level smith. So I've got another idea on those type of things. I mean, if to me, it's kind of silly to go wandering around adventuring if you're a smith. Now, if you're an arms / smith, that might be a different thing. Sort of like maybe Conan's dad from the Conan movie or something like that. Subterfuge, channeling. So he's moved the ranger from arms channeling to subterfuge channeling. Paladin's still stuck there, no problem. And of course you got your dual realm magician types. But so what I did, and definitely go read this, okay? So what I did is I expanded a little bit farther. Besides arms, I added in outdoor, martial arts, entertainment, and some other stuff from the books is elementalism and psionics. So I added in, outdoor martial arts. Although I think martial arts could have a different name. Don't want to say body sciences or something like that. And outdoors seems kind of silly. I mean, but it gives me the idea. Unlike arms, or subterfuge, which kind of says that you're, kind of urban oriented. Outdoor kind of gives you the idea that you're outdoor oriented. So, as Mr. Caldwell did, you get your fighter, warrior, outdoor. That's a good question. What would that be? You got your thief, martial arts. The archetype for me is high warrior, monk, and I always thought monk should be changed to something else. The monk gives you the idea that every single martial artist is a member of, a monastery or something. So, which isn't necessarily the case. Entertainment. What would that be? You know, layman, arcane, and magician. Channeling is going to be the cleric, right? Cleric. And I forget to list. Although I think the elementalist in the elemental companion was a dual arms elementalism guy. But anyway, stick with me. Psionicist or something, right? Psionicist. I spelled that wrong. Psionist. Let's just go with that. All right. All right, so um, arms outdoor could be any number of things. Arms subterfuge, of course, is the rogue. I think is the archetype. Arms martial artist. Good question. Arms entertainment. Um, what about a skald or something like that? Soldier. Um, then you kind of got, you know, and of course Ranger down here, and subterfuge channeling. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on it. I mean, it's kind of basic, but I think there's a lot of you can shuffle pretty much every single profession into one of these blocks. One of these types of dual dual realm blocks. Anyway, so another part of this is why who's the epitome here. I think the archetype is warrior because it's more fighting oriented, whereas the fighter's kind of got a more well-rounded set of skills. So same with the warrior monk. you know Even though the high warrior monk is the archetype, the warrior monk is in here somewhere. One of my thoughts is that there's a third dimension to these two dimensions, and it's based on the skill categories. So, you know, your thief is subterfuge, but what if, the skills for your thief were more social oriented? Then he'd be what? A con man, or something like that. So, and what if it was basically, subterfuge, and then, combat skills? What would be the kind of archetype for that? But, when it comes to two dimensions, it's it's pretty obvious. If you want to put your fighter, because then your warrior would be arms, right? Or arms, combat. Fighter might be more arms, general skills. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that, and I'll show you another part of this huge spreadsheet. Anyway, this is kind of my um, put everything together. So I got my skills over here. A lot of them are from Rolemaster. I've added in some from the standard system that were missing in regular Rolemaster second edition. You got your elemental companion, oriental companion skills, arms companion. They had cryptography, and I added in cryptology, which is the art of actually breaking codes, where cryptography is the art of creating codes. And then, of course, Alchemist Companion down here, and then a few more self things to kind of, every time I thought of one of these self-made classes, is like, well, you know what his profession needs is something else. So then on the top, of course, are all the professions. You can see where I renamed the martial artist to, or sorry, I think the high warrior monk to martial artist. Um, Warrior disciple is the warrior monk himself, and so that's why I kind of renamed the monk to disciple. Um, it still conveys some sort of religious, although disciplines of. So this guy is a disciple, but that's because he's disciplined, right? So martial artists are disciplined. And taking a cue from some of the conversations, channeling, and then there's a mentalism version. Um, yeah, here we are. Channeling healer, mentalism healer. These are I renamed these from, the mentalism guy was the healer, and the channeling was the lay healer or something like that, or this was a lay healer, and it just kind of seemed kind of strange to me, so I renamed those guys to just straight up healer. Chaotic, that was from Rolemaster Companion 3. I think that was the Chaotic Lord. I named the Moon Mages I named them to Servant, because they're a servant of the moon type thing. What else we got here? The Dream Lord or whatever it was, and kind of rename those because if you say Master of or Beast Master or something like that, which I think I left that alone, right? Over I don't know, mentalism. Yeah, I don't like this Beastmaster thing because that gives you the connotation that this first level Beastmaster is a master, which is kind of silly to me. But so when it comes to saying stuff like Lord and things like that, you're not yet, but wait till you get to 25th, 30th level, then you can be a Lord or something. Anyway, all your alchemists and things like that, and some of the stuff from Arms Companion, which seemed kind of silly. The Elemental Companion stuff. Yeah, you can see where his Elemental Channeler, Enchanter, Healer, Summoner, High Elementalist, I guess, really would need to be renamed, and that would be the archetype for Elementalism. Let's see. Then you got your Oriental Companion guys here, and then I started adding in. There's the Folk Mage from Grey Worlds 4. Excuse me. And a bunch of self-made classes and stuff, which were just ideas, and some are obviously straight out of some of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. But you can see where Bibliotaph is a mundane guy, an artificer is mundane, archaeologist is mundane. Arcane Trickster was your subterfuge arcane guy. Martial Artist Arcane was the Arcane Guardian. So yeah, I kept throwing stuff together. Every time I thought of something, I'd throw it into the spreadsheet, and it ended up getting a little out of control. But who cares? The more, the better, if you ask me. What I didn't do is figure out a way to straighten this out so that it would give you all the arms channeling, professions, which I guess I should, kind of think about. And you got the Jester I found on the web somewhere, and I classified it as an entertainment subterfuge essence, and so on and so forth. There's just tons of, and this Wayfinder guy, I said, there's probably somebody who's, got a little bit of everything, but he hangs out outside, arms, subterfuge, outdoors, mundane, just a, kind of a skulker guy. But that's pretty much it's pretty much it on that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit like, hit subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. And a big shout out to the Guild Companion and that article for kind of making me go ding. This is kind of cool. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more Perdido Key Gaming.